What's up, guys? It is John Carter Jenkins with JCJ Gear, JCJ Maker Studio, and all those other names that you've probably heard about by now. We're going to be doing something that's been requested quite a lot, kick pads. I'm going to show you how I make kick pads and run through it. Last time I was filming doing kick pads, the camera died, this whole thing happened, so I got to make one kick pad right now. It's actually my tag team partner. He gets one colored kick pad, another colored kick pad. So today we're going to be making a hot pink kick pad. Let's run through that. Let's roll. So, basis of a kick pad. I used to rack my brain of trying to figure out how to do this. If you're looking to get into this, take this as not a word of God of how to do this. This is just how I do it. So I have my pattern here that I've developed over time and got my own idea with. Let's see here. Pro tips: rotary mat, rotary cutter will save your life in the long haul. It's 10 times easier than having to cut with scissors. So essentially what we have at this point is we have what's known as the base sock right here. That's going to be the main base of your kick pad. And this is going to be the front of our kick pad. If you had logos, you would apply logos here now. We don't. So we're going to go ahead and cut the pad portion. Okay. A couple different style of pads you can use. I've used like thick, heavy-duty industrial yoga mats and stuff like that. I've used multiple different mats. This is kind of the one I'm using right now. It seems to be the most reliable I found. Go. So, if you're attempting to do this, I think I started saying this earlier and got distracted. If you're attempting to make your own gear, here's the deal. You're going to mess up. You're going to do things that don't work. You're going to probably use the wrong stitching. You're going to do something that it was not at the right time. The biggest thing I can give you advice-wise is order of operations. And the only way to learn your order of operations is to do it. So, example, if I tried to put a logo on a long pair of tights after I've sewed them together, my job is now 15 times harder and sometimes impossible. So order of operations is a big deal. And what was once said to me, which was a great thing, was if you're not fucking up, you're not learning. We can actually begin to sew now. Let's go. So I've got the pink thread already loaded up. Black bobbin doesn't matter. So pink thread loaded up. We are going to sew all the way around this edge as tight as we can so that pad stays locked in. Let's get that rolling. So now I'm going to show my guideline for cutting here in a second. That's kind of a hard thing to explain what it is, but essentially my guideline for cutting, getting it a straight line all the way around the thing, or even spacing all the way around the thing to attach to the sock, whatever. So now that I have my guideline, I can just trim off the excess. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and hem the bottom of this sock right here, where this raw edge is exposed, before we attach this. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'll be right back. So we have our pad, we have our sock. Now we need to attach the two. I just kind of eyeball it at this point. There we go. I wouldn't suggest eyeballing it unless you've done this a while, because I tried to eyeball it when I first started and I had a lot of bad kick pads that I couldn't sell because they went like this. So, here we go. Now let's sew this sucker down. So, this is what we're left with at the moment. Your base sock, your pad is now attached. We've got a few things we need to do before we can sew it all together. Number one is install elastic in the top. So some people do drawstring, some people do elastic and drawstring. Since I know him pretty well, I'm just going to do elastic. That's what he prefers. So we're going to cut the elastic to basically suck in the top of the leg, so when it drops in underneath the knee pad, it actually drops in and holds its place. It's not going to be flying all over the place. That's the goal, at least. Essentially, all I've done is just basted in my elastic. This is not a heavy duty. I could rip this out really easy if I wanted to. This is just basting it in, preparing it for the next step, and when I turn it down and then really lock in my stitching. This is one of the hardest parts of doing kick pads, especially when you have lots of logos or straps or things that get in the way. This is why some kick pads get super duper expensive, because this can be a giant pain. So you're gonna have to fold your kick pad backwards of the way it's gonna naturally want to go. So, and then I use clips to help me. And now I'm gonna sew this back edge right here, all the way down. I'm gonna sew it and then fold that seam over and sew that down again so it's double stitched and reinforced. So all while I'm doing this, this pad that's open, I have to kind of squeeze down, if not it's pulling my fabric out of line. If you were properly, like, I've done this so long, this sounds really cocky, I don't have to pin anymore, but you should pin. Pin. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to roll this over to meet my seam right there and then sew down this. So I'm going to have, if you break this, you kind of have to go through 2 seams and at minimum 6 layers of fabric essentially. So you really got to put an ass whooping on this to bust the seam. So essentially what we've done here is created this really nice reinforced seam down the back. Got a little bit of a bubble on the back, but you'll never feel that in there in your kick pad, and you'll never see it. But this just, I really like this seam because, man, you can really put some work on this and it's not going anywhere. So now we're going to fold the hem down that we basted in, or fold the elastic down that we basted in earlier, sew that around and then we turn this sucker inside out and put it in for our last step. And now we have this. One more step till we're complete, and that is adding the foot elastic. So we're going to take our elastic, cut us a nice piece of foot elastic right there. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. A lot of people, when I used to do this, latch it to their actual pad portion, so it loops all the way around the foot. There's also kick pads where the sock portion has a foot hole that matches with the fabric. You can do it that way too. The way I do this is kind of somewhere in the middle. I latch my elastic onto the sock section, so it just kind of really closes in all the elastic around the it closes in the sock around the boot, so it creates more of a completed look for me. I kind of like that the best out of everything I've done. So really though, this is up to you how you want to do it. So is that overkill of sewing? Probably. I mean, I did sew it back and forth like 6 times there, but this is probably gonna have the most stress on the kick pad. So let's make sure that sucker's locked in, right? That's it. That's roughly it. That was a very simplified version. Now there are times, and most of the time I'll dual layer these, and then, or there'll be a lot of logos, a lot of different leathers, a lot harder to do on the front of these. So this was one of a more simpler project to do and nice and easy. And I've done his kick pads a million times in a row. So I was able to knock this out at a pretty decent rate here. But that's kind of the end all be all of a basic kick pad. You've got your pad in the front, spandex sock, elastic, loop around the foot. Also, if any of you guys are interested, this is just some random thing that I'm doing, but a lot of these guys that watch this are wrestlers or workers or people, and you probably have laughed at my shirt once or twice if you've paid close enough attention, or if you're a horrible person like me. If you want one of these shirts, let me know. I'm going to be opening up a little small run for pre-orders. So if you would like to get yourself a Bump Up JCJ Gear official shirt, let me know in the comments. Also, you can hit me up on JCJ Gear on Instagram and all that jazz. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maker's Delight.